Good morning,
Yeah.
everybody.
Good
Good
morning,
morning,
everybody.
everybody. Good morning, Rosanna Diana.
Good morning, Party Marty. Good morning, Cece.
Good morning.
Good morning, Cece.
Good morning, baby. Good morning, Gina.
Well, as you see how my crew is as who I don't know who used to say this. Gina, somebody elementary used to always say. One of our teachers used to always say, "Come on today, you look real bright-eyed and bushy-tailed."
Hey, Mickey.
Hey, was that Mickey? What's up,
Yeah.
Mickey?
Good
Shout out to
morning,
Mickey.
Mickey.
Mickey is actually one of my heroes, and we grew up together. But Mickey is the person, one of the persons. No, not one of the persons. Mickey is the person who convinced me to step out on faith and retire. Mickey Silva is literally not one of. He is the person who convinced me to step out on faith and retire because it's scary as hell walking away from Clifton T. Perkins money. Clifton
Yes,
T.
it
Perkins was
is.
a lot of money because the money is in the overtime. It ain't the job. You feel me? What was the job? 40,000, 45,000. You know what I mean? You work so much overtime, everybody making 85, 90,000. Most people making six figures. So it gets scary. You know what I mean? Gina tells the story that she came to work one day. Yeah.
Hey,
Frank,
Frank.
that's my nephew, Jack. Hey, Frank, we're gonna talk to y'all about we going to New Orleans, right? See,
Yeah.
in the end of November, beginning of December, you and your lovely wife see both of my nieces and nephew. See if y'all want to tag along. Anyway, um, we're nervous about change sometimes. We're nervous. We're nervous about change. Well, I'm not gonna say we're all nervous because please don't tell my wife I said this, please, because she probably doing something. But my wife didn't nobody have to convince her to retire. She was out of there like the building was on fire. Gina, I don't think she retired. I think she quit and then later on put her paperwork in. And I asked, I said, "Baby, how you?" She told me, you know what I mean. I'm married now. I got a good husband. You know what I mean. I'm tell y'all something else out there. I'm gonna make you laugh. And this is real talk. I don't know about everybody's situation, but my wife pays the bills in our house. Yeah, she pays the bills with mostly my money. Drum roll, please. My wife pays the bills in our home, but mostly she pays the bills with, drum roll, please, my money. Now, I do have an advantage because my wife does something that 9 out of 10 women don't do. My wife has tricked me because my wife puts her retirement check straight into the family kitty, straight into a joint account. And let me tell y'all something, that's big boy shit for a woman because a woman don't do that. Because, you know, they like this, especially when they got their own money. You know what I mean? I'm telling my wife's business at 2,500 puts us over the top. I can handle the mortgage. I can handle all that stuff. But if you could keep the cell phone off me, if you could keep that little tedious stuff, the cable off, you can keep that stuff off me. That's a whole nother thing, y'all. You may not know it. And I step on like Gina. Sorry, Gina, for your loss with your soulmate that God gave you, and then God decided He wanted. I'm sorry for that. But let me tell y'all something. When you got two people that's paying bills together, you'd be surprised how much more money you have. I never knew. I never knew. My wife puts into the kitty. And now our little savings is growing because it's two people. It's simple math. It's two people putting in. I pay the big bills. I pay for the boat. You know what I mean? I pay for the mortgage. I pay for the fancy cars. I pay for that. But I don't pay the car insurance. I don't pay cable. I don't pay the cell phone. I don't pay nothing. My wife pay all that, keep it off me. And that little what's it called? Knick-knack, paddywhack, all that little stuff is with your AS. But it's down your AS. That little stuff, every time you tell them with your AS. So anyhow, there's two people that's in there. But my wife pays the bills in the house. She pays the bills in the house because she's the best at it. See, I'm all into being married. Hey, Doc. Good morning.
Hey, Doc. Good
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 morning.
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 Doc's dealing with a small crisis, saving the world or saving the young person who needed him. He gets out there. He'll may or may not tell to you about that, but Doc is always in and out because They call him first thing in the morning, last thing at night about saving the world. Doc, I'm talking about my situation of marriage. And my wife pays the bills in the house. She pays the bills in the house because she's the best at it. Because she is the best at it. I can tell you my story when it started back in the day. Cece was over my house. We were just now starting the date. And I'm a show-off type cat. You know what I mean? She came over to the house doing. I finally got the young girl. You know I'm doing this. We got over there, Doc, Gina. The lights was out. I thought that, you know what I mean? That, you know what I mean? The bad weather or something like that. But it wasn't. The lights was out. I've never been so embarrassed in my life. The gas and electric company had turned my lights on. And I had money, gangs of money, just, you know what I mean? Neglect. I was all embarrassed and stuff like that. But I had them generators because I only got a bunch of generators. I own the business. I'm saying I'm all embarrassed and stuff like that, and I'm talking saying, you know, well, here what had happened was I'm making all this excuse because she know me from the job and having money, and here I am with the lights out, and I'm putting this together. You know what I mean? So I went grab a generator and run the cords, and guess what she did? Start grabbing cords. She running up and down the step, plugging in fish tanks. I'm plugging them generators. She standing right in there with me, and I looked at her. God knows, I might have to take some pills or something like this about this water running from my heart. Big Luther told me his God melted my heart because I was so tough for so long. But everything seems to touch me now. I guess maybe because I'm in a good place. You know, Doc talked about that yesterday, Gina. Gina texted me, Gina, CC, and Doc, that this was one of the best shows that we've ever had.
That was the best show I've ever. I'm telling you.
You know what I mean?
I cried, I laughed. It was just
I just want to say, you know what I mean? And then when Doc had his time to speak on what he did to turn himself around, to get himself into the position to be an educated man, a man of influence, a man with a PhD, he took that time instead of implementing it to talk about where he was. He wanted to tell the world and me where I am. He wanted to tell some people that, you know what I mean, this is a good brother. You need to pay attention to this brother. You know what I mean? I mean, who does that? As they say in West Baltimore, CC, where they do that at? I want you to look at me. Once again, there got the water running out my eyes. Because I too had times, man, when my mother looked at me and kept telling me, what the hell am I doing? Where's that son that I raised? How did I end up with a crack addict? How did I end up with a dope fiend? How did I end up with a jailbird? How did I end up with this thug? I took you everywhere. I did everything for you. You know better. And I just was caught out there, y'all. Parents and stuff like that. Man, when you out there and you on drugs and you're in that confusion, that cloud, doctor says, when you in that cloud, man, you don't mean to be an ass. You just are. You just are. You don't mean to be there. I was trying to get right. I did everything I could, but I couldn't. But anyhow, I learned a lot of things from that. I learned that my wife is the best at paying the bills. So therefore, I don't worry about her running. She could take all your money. Yes, she could. She could go tomorrow. I have an account at Security Plus. She has an account at Security Plus. But all of her credit unions, all the bank accounts and stuff like that, her name is on all of them. Because she pays the bills. So she knows exactly how much money you have. Exactly how much money we have. Which means exactly how much money I have. You know what I mean? I know she's gonna complain, but I just want y'all to know that. But that's what happened out of that thing. But my wife that day told me something. I didn't pay no attention till later in there. I said, you know, I feel a little embarrassed that my lights and stuff was out. You know what I mean? And you know, how do you feel about that? And you know, we had the generator hooked up. And CC, tell them about that situation, how you responded to me.
I told him my lights been off before, but the difference between me and you is that I didn't have no generator. I had to pay that damn bill. So I've been in the dark before. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not gonna run around and act like it's a big deal. Oh my God, we in the dark. Been there before, and there was no generator for backup.
my wife started telling me and my son, you know what I mean, Doc and Gina, me and my son, the lights be out, we in there playing cards.
Yeah.
We had our lights out before.
Yeah.
You know
Play
what I
some,
mean?
light some candles, play some board games, and wait till that paycheck come.
Yeah, real talk. So that's that's something. But I want to say this to Doc. I want to say this to Cece. I want to say this to Gina. I want to say this to Podcast Land. This right here, as Gina said, was a great show. Was really a great show for me. Because a lot of it was about me. That's not how I started. But yesterday's show had a lot to do about me. Doc said some nice things about me. My wife said some nice things about me. Y'all out there said some nice things about me. I just was commenting on the Tony family who carried me. Doc always said, you don't know. You can be a blessing to somebody when they being a blessing to you. You don't even know. But I want to say this to my mother. I want to say this to Gina. I want to say this to Doc. I want to say this to Podcast Land. I got something I want to say about the way my life has turned out, and nobody can stop me. Hallelujah! Hallelujah!
Yes, brother.
Hallelujah! 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 And no one can stop me. No one can stop me. I thank everybody for being part of this podcast. I thank everybody for being part of my team. I thank my lovely wife for being part of my life. I thank Doc for saying the kind words, and Gina Lee for my 60-year-old friend that's longer than any tender that we see on this screen, and 9 out of 10s are my friend. I thank God for putting you in my life. So that being said, let's get on with the show. My prayer is that everybody for a moment have the moment that I had yesterday that I'm having now. I'll give it to you real simple. This year, this month, this week, this day, this hour, this minute, this second, my life is better, and I'm happier now than I've ever been in my whole entire life. How many people can say that? Get you in a point in a place, y'all, where you happy. Get you a crew of hitters like I got. Get you a wife like I have. You know what I mean? Hey, mama, when they that guy that was talking yesterday, talking about how I'm doing and how I respect me as a PhD, he's a doctor. And he talked highly of me. Hallelujah! 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 That's my time, and nobody can stop me. On with the show. Father God, let's start praying. Father God, thank you for the wonderful things that's going on in all our lives. Father God, thank you for this moment for the podcast. Father God, we always pray that you touch the lives, touch the families, touch the hearts of the people over there fighting them God-forsaken wars, losing parents, losing children, losing cousins, nephews, aunts, uncles, brothers, just losing over there. God, please touch their hearts. Father God, we always pray that you touch the people over there that still have not been vaccinated, dealing with this God-forsaken pandemic. God, roll their sleeve up, stick the needle in their arm yourself if you have to. Please, Father God, please, please, let's get through this thing. Father God, we always say to you, because Helen taught us something, and we thank you for it every day that you wake up and give it to us, because that's all we need is your grace and mercy. If you give us grace and mercy, God will do all the rest. Moment of silence, please. Amen.
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 Man,
Everybody out there in podcast land, I'm sometimes I get a little emotional. What happened to me was, hey, because that's my big cousin right there.
Hey, Sugar Mama Jones, how are you?
Yeah, that Sugar Mama Jones is gonna come run over there with all the book bags and stuff. CC knock on the door. That's my family. Yeah, it's Kunt and them up. And so anyway, I just want you to know that you never know how you end up. My wife pays the bills. She's in charge of paying the bills because she's the best at it. She was the best at it. Now, you know what I mean? You got to be able to step out on faith and see who's helping you. You know what I mean? A bunch of late charges all the time, sitting around. But I should have let her start paying the bills back in the day when I had my darn lights turned off with a pocket full of money, you idiot. I should have kept that going right then, but I had to wait around. I had to wait around till now when I know now that my net worth is increasing because somebody's better at it than me. Somebody's better at it than me. So that's the same way with my team, as I learned. The other day when I had my podcast and I had to go out and work, and I started a podcast and letting them go off and do that and said I'd get back in there and I'm listening at it while I'm riding along. Get back in where? You can't improve on excellence. I couldn't improve on what Dr. Gina and CC was doing. Sometimes y'all move out the way. Get out your own way. I ain't get back in there no more. I listen to the podcast and enjoy. I listen to the podcast and enjoy. Show me 7 of your best friends. Tell them, Doc, and what will that bring you?
And I'll tell you your future.
I'll tell you your future. Hey, y'all. I go monopolizing the thing. Hey, y'all, I want y'all to know, too, a lot of this, when y'all see this water run out my house, CC opens this darn basement window. I got them allergies. So my allergies sometime down there, sometime when that window's open, you know what I mean, that my allergies and stuff like that. That pollen get to running through the window, and that's what's up. Don't I'm West Baltimore party mother. You chumps don't think I'm crying. Anybody? You see what I'm saying? Y'all been in them holes with me, on them streets with me, on them strips with me, on them tears with me, in them jails with me. Y'all don't forget who I am. I'm party, and that's that damn allergies, man. That pollen shooting through the window. That's all it is. All right, y'all. Watch your mouth, CC. Okay, all right. Let's start the show, man. First of all, good morning, Doc. How you doing?
I'm pretty good, brother. I'm pretty good.
I know you were dealing with a situation. Anything good come out of that?
Yeah, I mean, it was sometimes I think that when youth are in a situation, you know, one of the problems is that they go to the wrong people for advice or direction. And you know, so when I get that call, and it's a situation, you know, of an emergency, you know, I'm on it first to be one of the calls, because sometimes I know if you calling me, you want, you know what I'm saying, what I feel that I could give you, and which is been there, done that, wrote right. The book, starred in the movie, and I know that to bring out of that situation, you know. And so for me, you know, it was a young man, and, you know, he was kind of, you know, caught up in a situation really with something that he did not do, but he was going to kind of get blamed for it because, you know, it definitely had something to do with his you know, somebody he was rolling with. And it was and so I was really trying to, you know, help him to navigate, you know, through a situation, you know, and so that he could, you know, also, you know, pretty much just be able to identify and put out there where he really was. So they couldn't try to put him in a situation of being in a vehicle or whatever, because he really wasn't there. And I'm like, okay, then, well, I just need for you, we gonna help you prove where you were. We ain't gotta prove nothing else. You just prove where you were. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, and so all of this, because a lot of times when you, it's bad to be on the run, but when you on the run and you can do it, or you innocent, you know what I'm saying, that's kind of like a worse situation. And sometimes though, when you call, you know, Pookie and Black and Day Day and, you know what I'm saying, and different things, you know, sometimes they gonna give you, you know what I'm saying, you know, some street information that even may be wrong. You know what I'm saying? You know, in my book, Temporarily Insane, I have a chapter where I talk about, you know, that some of these young cats, nobody's even taught them how to do wrong the right way. So they even doing wrong. You know what I'm saying? With the double negative. You know
There you go. There you go, y'all. Put your pen, Gina. There you go. There you go.
Doing wrong.
Get it to us again, Doc. If y'all don't know, Doc's the king of the one-liners. Get your pens out when Doc start talking. Let me get mine. Hold up. Wait a minute. Let me get mine.
All right, I'm ready.
Yeah. Okay. What is it now, John? What'd you say?
I said a lot of these young guys now, I said nobody has even taught them how to do wrong the right way. So they even doing wrong. And so, you know, it's
Doing
which is a double
wrong.
negative, which is a double negative, only positive in math. And so you have a situation where and seeing what, like something that I said a lot of people have been using an 8-track solution for an iPod problem.
Woo.
And so the solution is even outdated. You know, so you have solutions for a 1960s child in 2021. And so you're dealing your method. Even when I looked at some of the books of how they train, you know, as far as teachers in the school system and different things of that nature, some of how they approaching the child is something that was made up in the 70s.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so, you know, and so people, the first thing they thinking that a youth is going to respond a certain way, but they also basing it off of what was happening in the early 70s. So if two parents were normally in the house, if it wasn't a situation where, you know, drugs was heavily, you know, over it, you know what I'm saying, in the household, you know what I'm saying? And if certain things just wasn't even a factor, you know, so now you got children that are multitasking all the time. So they might be on the phone texting, watching have the TV on, you know what I'm saying, also on social media, you know what I'm saying, all at the same time while they on the earphones listening to some music. And so it's hard for them to tone down because they're used to multitasking. So now when you put them in a situation where they got to focus on one thing, it becomes harder to deal with. And so you have to learn how to, so a lot of the methods of even dealing with our youth are kind of outdated. And so we have to just use a more realistic approach in how we handle the situation. Because part of the problem is that unless you practice this, critical decision making is hard. So a lot of youth, they don't know this. It really, they say that they don't start making good decisions or sound decisions until they almost 25 years old. But they can die for their country at 18.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is that real talk? Is that real math? That's really a actual legit, what's it called, scenario or something like that. They're 25 years old.
Yeah.
Especially for males, especially they say the brain as far as development. So a lot of times, okay, like for me, I actually practice with my kids. I'm like, okay, then you see somebody drive up, they pull up, they in a nice car, you want to get in. You know what I'm saying? But you see a rag over where the key go at. Now, that should be a red flag. That's saying that they used a dent puller. They pulled it out. They put the lock piece back in and they just turned the key, you know what I'm saying? So they don't have a key for this. And so you know that, you know, you ain't never seen them with a new car or a new whip like this. They don't have parents that have new whips and different things like that. And so where would they have gotten this car? And so a lot of times, because a lot of youth, you know what I'm saying, you know, kind of like under that type of pressure, what they do is the anxiety is telling them. So the first thing is saying, no, don't get in the car. But the anxiety is so high that they end up actually doing the exact opposite of what they know they probably supposed to do. So they end up doing the exact opposite of so they end up just getting in the car. You know what I'm saying? And so what I do is I actually practice, you know, with my children. And I'm like, okay, then you in a store. None of y'all have any money. You know what I'm saying? But y'all want to go into the corner store. And you see your man's, you know, just, you know, putting a whole bunch of stuff in there. And he telling you to put some stuff in your bag, book bag. What you do? You know what I'm saying? You know, well, how do you handle this? Were you able to get out of this and you don't look like no rat? You don't look like no chump, but you still just standing your ground. And so I want them I have to practice with them, because they say if you don't practice it, or if it's not been a scenario when they are faced with it, they really have so much anxiety that they end up doing the exact opposite of what they know to do.
That makes sense. That definitely makes sense because I often tell people the same thing, Doctor. We are raising our children for a world that doesn't even exist anymore. So we have to be proactive in changing with the times as well.
Oh yeah,
Just like a fire drill is important in school. What you just spoke of, that's a real life drill. You know.
right.
And the
And what's so
chances
wild
are
is
that they're gonna run into that situation before they're
they
gonna
do
run
all
into a fire.
they do all of those fire drills, at the school, people be playing and stuff like that. But you know what? When I was actually at a school and somebody set the bookstore on fire, you know what I'm saying? I mean, people wasn't doing none of what they normally do. I seen one person, he just started running and ran into the smoke. I ain't never seen nothing like it.
I
And look,
believe it.
and this is funny. Well, it's not funny, but it had me tripping. It had me thinking. The teachers ran and left the students. The
Mm-hmm.
teachers ran and started pushing the students to the side and started leaving their classes. And so to me, yeah, all of those fire drills was cute and this, that, and the third. But when that rubber really hit the road, you really saw what was going to happen. They left the students, and some of the crazy ones ran into the smoke. And so I said, so I see at the end of the day, it's every man for himself. That's what I got out of it.
Absolutely.
That I had to make
Gina,
those decisions, and I had to get myself out of there because that's just how it
Absolutely.
was.
Yeah.
hey,
I remember they
hey,
used to have
Gina,
those fire drills at work talking about what get the most vulnerable patients and all of that. I said, I don't mean no harm, but whoever can follow behind me, but I'ma lead the way. That's all I can promise you. If you think
hey,
I'ma stay in
that
the burning building to get you, I don't know about that.
CC just cut off my little segue in, but I work at the Great Clifton T. Perkins, and we was in the timekeeping office getting my time right, and they had a so-called earthquake. People always tell me, yeah, they had the earthquake. I ain't never felt not near earthquake that we didn't have. We didn't have 500 of them. Everybody talk about the earthquake. I ain't never felt one, but we were at Perkins, and I felt some rumbling, but they be fighting in there. So I just thought they was fighting them. You know what I mean? Restraint. I just thought they was fighting. And I look at in the blue room, and I'm looking at the little, the pictures and stuff shaking. So I really witnessed that. So I stepped out in the hallway, and we won't say it because I really like her. That's my friend. She was the building charge. And she wasn't always the building charge. She was just like the building charge that day or maybe that week, something like that. Or even she was new. When I poked my head out in the hall, CC, and I seen her come running by me. She's a lady of African descent. She came running by me. We got outside. It was like, everybody was out there. It was on the line of a fire drill. That's how many people ran outside. There ain't no patients out there. Just the people work there, like Doc said. So when we got back in, I saw her about an hour later. I said, I don't know what kind of building charge supervisor you are. I come outside, you already outside. You supposed to go down with the ship. They ain't teach you that. They ain't tell you that. Guess what she said? The same thing Cece said. She said, no. I was helping everybody. I was showing y'all the way. I was telling everybody, come follow me. Come follow me. She was coming down the hallway looking like dirt. Come on. I'm falling out laughing. I apologize. Go ahead, Gina. Any comment?
Look, I agree 100%. You can't treat people or young people, old people, anybody the way you did back in the day.
Yeah.
When we got a new supervisor, should I say a new boss, down my former job, she came from an educational background, but she came from a background of teaching elementary school kids. So she thought really that she was going to run that office like she had 5-year-olds, to the point where, you had to like speak when you saw her. You couldn't be in the hallway and couldn't sit at anybody's desk and have a conversation. And, You know, I'm like, wait a minute, hold it. I've been here 30 years. We ain't never had any problems or anything. Like, everybody got their work done. It wasn't, like we were slacking off or anything. But it got to a point where people, because of that, started to kind of dislike people that they had been kind of dealing with for years. All of a sudden, this person didn't like that person, or certain people weren't doing things the way that this person wanted them done, or that kind of thing. Where before you worked as a group,
Right.
but it like you say, it takes a person to know that this you can't do things like you did before. You've got to have a different mentality for young people and older people. You have to treat people with respect, and you need to incorporate formations that are of today. Just like you said, this lady ran out and she said she was leading the way. When that earthquake happened, yep, I was leading the way.
Mhm.
I agree. We had people that were, that couldn't walk well and so forth, and certain people were supposed to stay behind with them until the firemen got there. But it was one of those weird. None of us had experienced an earthquake before. So what they did, the men got together and picked them people up and took them down the step. No, we're not waiting up here on the third floor for nobody.
Good job. Good job, man.
You
Good
know,
Right.
job. Yeah. I that reminds me of before we get into Gina. Doc, a great topic. Great way to start us off, Doc. You know what I mean? Keep doing what you're doing for Gina always says what you're doing for the world. Doc, when you were here in Hawaii, every Gina made mention of you 2 or 3 times every episode. You know what I mean?
Thank
She
you.
always say Doc is out saving the world. He's out making a change. He's making
Thank
a
you.
progress all over the world. She always makes mention of that some people are
that
global.
show in Atlanta was unbelievable.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, she sent that link to everybody. We all got to watch it. That's something. Doc as a PhD, but Doc is a motivational speaker. And when he talks to you, you know that he's talking to you. You ever hear the preacher be talking or stuff like when you do something, breaking the law or something like that, or did something wrong? I swear, like he must have been out there Saturday night when I was with them freaks. Or he must have saw me over there on the corner with them dope cokes and ready. You would swear and the hooker sitting next to you say, "Oh my God, he know I'm a hooker." And the preacher get to talking sometime. Y'all ever seen that new thing that the ladies do? Take their feet off the floor? Yeah, what does that mean? Sometimes somebody was preaching and the lady said, "Oh my God, take my feet off the floor" or something. I don't even know what that meant, but anyhow, it's great. But they Doc be talking, and I swear it seems like you're talking about you. But I'm gonna say this to you as a joke before we move on. My daughter will poke her mouth out. She pokes her mouth out about everything. One of my kids is real private, and that's private. But my grandson has anger management issues. Sugar Mama Jones will laugh because this is her nephew. But he got anger management issues. Corey CC has anger management issues. I don't care what you do to Corey, he can put his hands on you. My grandson don't bother you, but if you do anything, he's gonna put his hands on you. That's what's up with these young kids now. But anyhow, he was over there. She said, "We need to go up to school because such and such in trouble for fighting." So we get to bed, and I see she telling me the first thing my father always said, and this out there in podcast land. Remember this when I tell you this: before you get fuss at your child or something like that, my baby Corey, before you fuss at your child, real talk about fighting and stuff like that. My father always said, "You go find out why he was fighting. Don't you ever tell your child this not wrong to fight." My mother told me in the kindergarten when she walked to bed, Gene, she told me the last thing she said, she grabbed my hand when she left and told me, "Anybody hit you, you hit them back." In the kindergarten, she said, "I'll play and have fun, but anybody hit you, you hit them back." My mother told me that, and Do you know Muhammad Ali hit me? My reflexes to hit him back. Not because I'm tough, not because I'm mean, because I've been hitting people back all my life. Gina Lee will hit you back. I don't care if you're 6'5" like Dr. Sutton. If you hit Gina, her reflexes to hit you back. Well, she's gonna hit you with that damn keychain she got too. But leave you me. Her reflexes, Gina, all of us, isn't it? All of us at the swimming pool. We all learn to hit back. And then don't go get help. Start hollering helps. Keep swinging and holler help. And help, right, Gina? Help's on its way. That's what we always say. Don't be, I'm going to go get some help. Don't be leaving your buddies when you're fighting. Close your eyes, start swinging, holler help. Somebody's going to come a running. When we holler help at that pool, somebody came a running. But we at the school dealing with Corey. And this will make Nettie laugh too. We at school dealing with Corey. They said, well, you know, Corey was fighting and stuff like that. And, you know, he hit somebody. And I said, well, who was it? I mean, you know, who started it? And then I said, well, who was it that he hit? And we sitting there, the security officer, the teacher, the principal, little boy. And I said, well, who was it that he hit? Somebody raised their hand. He said, that'd be me. You know who that was? The principal.
I figured that.
The principal. You want to know why? Because when him and the little boy was fighting, the principal grabbed him.
Oh my
and
God.
I beat him. Everybody know about me. I beats up people that breaks up fights too. Don't grab me. If you ever see party fight, right, sis, you know my line. I beats up people that breaks up fights too. Because Michael Neal, I'll never forget, they fight Michael Neal at Papa Grove. I thought I was getting the best of them. They broke it up. They broke it up and grabbed me on purpose so you can hit me in my mouth. My lip was split today. This is 50-something years ago. From that last blow from him, somebody grabbed me so he could get that punch in. People know they grabbing you so they buddy can get the last punch. And they know they turn you over so they brother can get on top. So anyhow, she said, but after I had to stop then because I can't better defend him. Once he hit the principal, I ain't know what to say then. But anyway, my daughter gets home and says to him, you know, I'm sick of you always getting in trouble. This don't make no sense. We got in the house. I'm sick of you always getting in trouble. Just get out of my face. He said, "Mine," but he grabbed me and I ain't know I was hitting people. Once I'm fighting, which is how it is. She said, I just don't say, just get out of my face. Just don't say nothing to me. Just go up in your room. Go up in your room and listen. Don't even come down for dinner. I'll bring you dinner. Don't come down for dinner. Now, let me tell you what that means to me. First of all, she sent him to his room. He got a PlayStation, an Xbox, a cell phone, and a 51-inch television in his room.
Oh, my God.
That's your punishment. Now, guess what? Don't he come downstairs? I bring you food. Now you got breakfast in bed. Now you got breakfast in bed. You feeling me? This is what Gene and them is talking about. This is what Doc talking about. My niece Karen from North Carolina will say the timeout people. Say, what happened to the kids with the timeout? They on meds. They on meds. You know what I mean? Remember, you know what I mean? We had different ways of raising your kids. You tell your kids they on timeout now and be good. They don't give a damn about that timeout. 1, 2, 3, freeze. Freeze. What the hell does that mean? He gonna be good because he froze. You know what I mean? So my daughter sent my grandson, Sugar Mama and Natty, sent him to his room. He got a PlayStation, he got an Xbox, he got a cell phone, he got a 51-inch TV, and then she told him, don't come downstairs. I'm sick of looking at you, so now you get breakfast in bed. Run tell that. The whole concept is totally 100% changed now. Gina's my age. Gina, when you went to your room, you had a TV, a cell phone, and all that too. You better not turn the TV on. You better not be watching television. You better not think that you're going to get on the telephone. That telephone ring, first thing I do, I pick the phone. Hello. Yeah, I can't talk on the phone. I'm punished. And tell everybody else don't call me neither. Because you know what? Let her answer for hello, Morris can't get on the phone. He punished and don't call here no damn more. You know, so that's amazing how times have changed.
But
Before
see,
we
that
get
was that was also another way of them monitoring, because you remember that you had that long cord on the phone in the kitchen, and that was the most privacy you was going to get, is to be able to
yeah.
take it around that wall and try to sit on the other
Yeah,
side of
yeah,
the wall, but
yeah,
they right there.
yeah,
But they
yeah.
right there, you know what I'm saying? And so, so they didn't have to worry about, you know what I'm saying, you really getting caught up now. Now it's the images that the children see on the phone that really, you know what I'm saying, are so different. So parents really could focus on a lot of other things. They didn't have to focus on having the monitoring that now what we see. Because even if we watch the TV, we only had about 4 channels. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's if
2,
you had
11,
the foil, and
13, and
that's if you had the
45.
foil on the antenna, and then you
Yeah.
probably had a TV that you had to turn with the pliers. So I mean, it was a total different thing. So it was okay. So you knew different levels of things. You know what I'm saying? So you could go get your own switch, bring it in there, you get whipped, and keep it moving. You know what I'm saying? But now, things have changed to a total different way. And they even got children thinking that, if you hit me with a switch or something, I'm going to call the people on you. They got them messed up. Because I told them, I said, the only person you call on me is God. You have to call on God. I ain't worrying about nobody coming to my house for me disciplining my children, because to me, it's a difference between discipline and abuse.
Right.
You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Ain't nobody getting no cigarettes put out on them over here, none of that stuff. But you know what? But I tell you one thing, you know what I'm saying? If I have to discipline them, you know what I'm saying, I'm going to do it, you know what I'm saying? But I'm going to do it, you know what I'm saying? You do it out of love, not out of hate. You know what I'm saying?
Because
And
guess what?
that's a total different
If you
thing.
don't discipline them, soon as they do something, the first thing will come out their mouth was, "Where's the parents? What happened to the parents when they was doing this?" I used to always, when they first started that foolishness about if your parents hit you, call the police. First of all, my grandmother, just like you say, used to have us climbing up there, getting our own switch. I used to tell her I don't climb trees, so somebody else gonna have to go. Somebody gotta go get my switch. I ain't climbing up no tree. But soon as they do something, they're gonna be looking for the parents. So I always tell them, when they told them call the police if they hit you, when they tell them when they send the police, send the coroner with them. They gonna need the police for me, and they gonna need the coroner for the person that was dumb enough that I brought into this world and take care of every day to call the police on me. So tell them, make sure they send 2 vehicles, one for me and one for you.
You're going to
I
hell for
get it.
that one, too. All right, y'all. Let's get our show. Y'all know who we have, our historian. Gina Lee is our historian. She's going to go off and give us the topic. You get a chance, y'all. Put the cotton in your mouth. Open your ears. Let's all get together this morning and learn something. Gina Lee, I'm Party Marty. Wait a minute. Y'all know what it's time for. What's it time for? What's it time for now?
The segue.
Segue in. Here's what I do. I do my thing. This only goes on here. It's Simply Us. This is when I do my smooth thing. Doc, they love this when I do this. Watch this, watch this, watch this, watch this. This called the segue in. Out there, podcast land. Sometimes imitated, trying to be duplicated, but I am the originator of the segue in. Watch how smooth I do. I say, Gina, how are you today? What's your topic? Let's talk.
Well, good morning, Simply Us panel and podcast panel.
Yay.
I'm using this topic today of a local heroine. Her name is Rosetta Ma Thea Stith. Now, in front of a body of students, Dr. Rosetta Stith stated, somebody had to put the light in your bulb, and that light made you who you are, even though you didn't know. Though she was referencing mothers, Dr. Stith also ignited lights for countless students, as she was a fierce supporter of assisting pregnant teenagers, specifically with education. And since we were on the topic of teenagers, it seemed like this was just appropriate, right?
Right.
She helped them to succeed against overwhelming odds associated with poverty, limited family support, and negative societal attitudes. Dr. Stiff not only changed the lives of teenagers from Baltimore, but the standards by which they were treated. At a time when schools did not accommodate young women who were pregnant, she got them to stay in school where they normally would have dropped out.
Okay.
Rosetta Ma Thea
Yes.
Smith was born on January 5th, 1945, to Elijah and Edna Stiff in Baltimore. Raised on Fayette Street, she lived her entire life in Baltimore as well. Growing up, her father was a laborer, her mother worked for the federal government, and Dr. Stiff was one of three children, one brother and one sister aside. She always said her household was one of love, but she credited her father for pushing the importance of a good education with good common sense. Theatrics by Dr. Stiff's parents, they aspired for her to be on stage, and they had an idea to which she might do that. But she said the stage would have been grand, of course, but she drew towards an educational career path. So, after graduating from Edmondson High School, Dr. Stiff obtained her bachelor's degree from Morgan State University in 1969 and began teaching elementary school in Baltimore City. In 1973, she received a master's degree in urban studies from Johns Hopkins University, and in 1978, her doctorate in education from Temple University in Philadelphia. Shortly following this, she found her life's calling when she was introduced to the Lawrence G. Paquin Middle and Secondary School for Expectant Teenage Mothers, which was established in 1966. This school is located in the idea for the school emerged in the early 1960s after a student at Clifton Park Junior High School became pregnant, and by law, that child had to leave school. Well, Clifton Park's then assistant principal, Vivian Washington, appealed to the state, city, and school officials to establish a school for pregnant teens in order that they could stay in school and finish their education. And the current mayor, William Donald Schaefer, was a supporter of the school idea. The initial Paquin location outgrew its facilities and moved to the old City College Western High School building at Howard and Center Street, which it then moved again to the 2200 block of Sinclair Lane, where it remained until closing in 2020. Initially located in one of East Baltimore's highest crime poverty-stricken districts, the Lawrence G. Paquin Middle and Secondary School for Expectant Mothers was in poor shape, both physically and morally, as students were pregnant, scared, ashamed, and hopeless. But hope was filled Dr. Rosetta Marthea Stiff. In 1980, Dr. Stiff became principal and director of the Lawrence G. Paquin Middle and Secondary School for Expectant Teenage Mothers, a position she held for 30 years. And at the same time, she also got to live out of her theatrical dream while producing and hosting the television show called The Rose Show on Baltimore cable television. The Rose Show was a television talk show that addressed social issues around the themes of parents in need and their children. After that show ended in 2000, she started another one on the same station titled Kids Talk with Dr. Rowe, which she produced and hosted as well from 2001 to 2004. Although Dr. Stiff's position in media and academia did cross, she maintained a media career even after retirement. Bluntly, she would often be heard saying to her students, "You made one mistake. Don't make another. Stay in school." Under the charismatic leadership of Dr. Franklin School served as an outstanding and innovative alternative public school that enabled approximately 800 pregnant and parenting adolescent mothers each year to remain in school, with many completing their high school education and some continuing on to college. Dr. Stiff championed and improved the lives of those without voices in Maryland, as well as the nation as a whole. The lives of thousands of adolescents in the inner city of Baltimore were touched by Dr. Stiff, and she was an inspiration to others worldwide. National and international delegations would visit almost daily to take home lessons learned from the example Dr. Stiff provided. Her television show extended her remarkable influence even further. But through her efforts, Dr. Stiff had provided a roadblock to the vicious cycle of teen pregnancy and poverty. Her students were provided with the support and taught the skills they needed to function independently. Paquin students were encouraged to help themselves by remaining in school and completing their education while caring for their children of their own. Knowing that her students did not exist in isolation, Dr. Stiff made it possible for their infants, toddlers, and preschool age children to participate in on-site early education programs of their own, while receiving child care within the Paquin School building. She had established a school-based health facility that served teen mothers and children, as well as teen fathers and extended family. She worked tirelessly to acquire a residential facility that provided an alternative home for pregnant and parenting adolescent mothers who would otherwise be homeless. Dr. Stiff would track down teen fathers, help with teens in labor, lecture teen moms on proper womanly etiquette and on proper way to care for their children. One teen father expressed he didn't want his girlfriend to be just another statistic. He wanted her to be able to show the kid when the time comes that she did finish school. The Paquin School became an open space full of warm decorations, plants, and artwork from both the students and their children. She made sure there was a full library of materials for the students and the children's books for their toddlers. Dr. Stiff created a daycare center, which doubled as a family skills lab. This allowed teens to attend academic classes and then learn important parenting skills and child development knowledge with their children after class. She created the status quo that each mother would have lunch break, an event she called Keys in the Hair Time. Well, the building blocks for future success weren't the only gifts she received by the students from Dr. Stiff. When necessary, scholarship monies were found in order to make college a reality. Daniela Roberts was the first student to receive the Paquin Scholarship to Baltimore City Community College, where she went on to study nursing. And Melissa Irwin went on to be a math major at Coppin State University. While working all the time with the girls, their families, and their babies, Dr. Stith also earned a doctorate degree from Temple University in 1988. By 2000, she had completely turned Paquin and its students around so much that it was featured in the National Education Association report entitled Solutions That Work. Only 5 schools in the entire United States were featured in this report. In a nation where 50% of girls who give birth before age 18 never complete high school, Dr. Stith gave her girls a chance to plan and a future to look forward to. She told them that just because everything had not gone their way, there was no need to spend the rest of their time on the sofa watching Jerry Springer and ignoring their own dreams. Paquin is on record as having a 65% attendance rate, and Dr. Stith said Paquin kept a significant amount of pregnant teenagers from becoming dependents of the city, from becoming statistics in the dropout column, and ultimately the unemployment line. Dr. Stith also helped students enter the job market with industrial sewing skills, perfected in an on-site industrial sewing center, which marketed baby clothes and gifts designed and produced by the students themselves through a then clothing line called Young Sensations, which were sold at JCPenney.
Wow.
And the profits were shared by the students as well as the school. Also, Dr. Stith assured that her school also had a sound academic program which would allow her students to gain high school diplomas. Additionally, she encouraged her students to avoid peer pressure and practice abstinence until older ages. However, knowing that abstinence is not the only option, she pushed for the allowance of her students to use the contraceptive Norplant, which was effective and easy for teens to use as it was inserted under the skin and remained active for 5 years. Well, when critics called the use of Norplant genocidal, Dr. Stith replied, "I'll tell you what's genocidal. When girls don't go to school, that's genocidal."
Amen.
In 1993, Paquin became the first school to offer contraceptives. Dr. Stith was constantly fighting to better the lives of her students, and to jumpstart the process of positivity, she would take them to encouraging cultural events such as the Pandora's Box Women in Classical Greek exhibit at the Walters Art Museum, which demonstrated how in ancient Greece, women who gave birth to children at an early age were well-respected citizens. Finally, she successfully lobbied the Maryland legislature to make Paquin an exception to the law that required dropout students to wait 6 months before returning to the classroom. And she was the driving force behind the implementation of an on-site GED program at Paquin. Dr. Stith's work with this unique academic, corporate, and entrepreneurial program, as well as her involvement in the community affairs of Baltimore and Maryland, led to many awards. In 1994, she received the governor's citation for her work. And then for 1998 and 99 school years, she received 6 awards, with one being awarded in April 99 from Phi Beta Sigma fraternity, and the Women of the Year Award in Education from the Zeta Phi Beta sorority and Alpha Zeta chapter for being the African American woman of distinction. New York Times and Fortune 500 magazines carried numerous articles about this work at the Paquin School. In addition, she had appeared on CBS, NBC, Primetime, Crossfire, Geraldo, The Ricky Lake Show, and Lisa. All the issues and consequences associated with teen pregnancy. Dr. Stith had consulted on educational issues in school-age appropriate program development and the prevention of teen pregnancy on an international level as well. She had appeared on Irish, Danish, Dutch, German, French, Brazilian, and Japanese television.
Okay.
Delegates from over 25 countries had come to view the school model and consult with Dr. Stith and her staff. Regrettably, as I said, the Lawrence G. Paquin Middle and Secondary School for Expectant Mothers closed in 2010. And ironically, Dr. Stith never married or had any children of her own. Her family was in every respect the teenagers and their children that she helped throughout her career. Besides enjoying time with her pet poodle and occasional trips to the spa or vacation spots, she dedicated everything she could to her students and audience. Dr. Smith single-handedly saved countless people from death and hopelessness, while giving them a sense of the possibility of their lives. Her persona, legacy, and unique look, blonde hair swept to one side in an asymmetrical style, a brooch pinned against a finely tailored suit, high heels, ankle bracelet, and always colorful manicured long fingernails, will live on as an important influence in Baltimore's history. Dr. Stith passed away from complications of dementia on May 18th, 2017 in Pikesville, Maryland, at the age of 72.
Okay.
Beautiful.
I do it every time.
Hands up! Hands up! Hands up! Hands up to two people. Hands up to Dr. Stith. Sugar Mama Jones, you must have went to that school because you commented several times, so she must be in your story, in your history. And one last thing, Gina Lee, your presentation, you did that shit.
Second to none.
You
That's
did
you.
that shit there. Yeah, you tore that up. If anybody didn't feel that, then you wasn't trying to, your hands were closed. You weren't trying to receive that. Well, you
And
did
I
that,
think-
Gina. That was,
I think, thank you. But I think, since we were talking about the youth and talking about, how things are changing and how we need to address young people today as opposed to them yesterday or years ago, should I say?
Right.
This topic, really kind of like tied into that, because I say to myself, think of all the young women that who are, I'm sure, grown women now, that she touched and showed them how to raise a family. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like Doc said, it's how you and CC said the same thing. It's how you address and show your children what their future could be. If you give them a pathway to get there, they might take it. Not to say it's going to be guaranteed, but at least if you show them there's a path to a future, a good future. Maybe
Yeah.
Sugar Mama Jones keeps commenting in there. That's my grandson's father's sister. Anyhow,
And she said she was a student at Paquin.
she
Okay.
was a student there. Yeah, and check this out. I'm gonna tell you. Let me see. She is definitely part of my history. Real talk. And Sugar Mama Jones turned out just fine. That's who came over here with book bags and stuff like that for the drive. That's her. You know what I mean? Let me tell you something else too. Domino effect. Doc always talks about this. My daughter Shatisha, we call her Becky, is saved because of Sugar Mama Jones, Nettie, all them, Al Kunta, because of their mother. I was trying to get in church and do this and do that, and they had on Francis Street, they had a pastor that was trying to reach young people, and they used to have dress down day. Yeah, grandson's on. My grandson's on. As I'm saying, her brother is Kunta, who's Corey's father. But check this out. They had a church on Francis Street, and that pastor used to have on every third Sunday or something like that, dress down Sunday. And Kunta, who has a child by my daughter Shatisha, Becky, mother used to drag her to church. Make Becky go to church. You know what I mean? Then Becky wanted to go to church. Then you couldn't keep Becky out of church. Now I couldn't keep her in church. Mother couldn't keep her in church. But that person right there, somebody else's mother, is the reason why Becky is saved. Sugar Mama Jones, her. What if that lady right there don't touch her and keep her in school? Now, Sugar Mama Jones' mother, Miss Ann, is a Holy Roly Bible told. Their family play the drums in the church. They one of them kind of families. It's a Holy Roly Bible told. You feel me? Wonder how it feels when the nice, dainty, Holy Roly Bible told daughter gets pregnant when she's 15 or 16. Ain't ready for that. We ain't ready for that. We ain't ready for that. Foundation. We weren't ready for that. Tiffany, my daughter's a skunk. So Becky was a good daughter. She ain't never get trouble. She was nice and dainty. I love you, love me. She kept her head down. She ain't never get trouble. My daughter Tiffany fighting. She was a thug. My son already put out of school, everything like that. And the good daughter Becky came home pregnant at 14 years old. And they couldn't wait to laugh at me because I told them all the time, why don't y'all act like Becky? Why don't y'all be like Becky? Yeah, why don't we be like Becky? Their stomach like this. Why don't we be like Becky? Tiffany, B.I.T. I just put my hands around her, you know, Miss Ann Bolger. That's her mother, Miss Ann. But anyhow, somebody took time out to put some time into Miss Ann's daughter, Sugar Mama. And she's on this show right now on the podcast commenting on that lady who helped save her life. You don't know who you're talking about. You don't know who you're helping. You don't know who you're teaching. You don't know what it meant for Dr. Ted to tell me that I'm a good person and I wanted to talk about you. You don't know who you're helping. Gina Lee came up with an awesome topic. All topics, like you say, on Harriet Tubman and Martin Luther King. Some of them are right here. I never knew what penguin was. We always called it pregnant school penguin. I thought they wore black and white. They was ducks or something.
First of all, we want you to get that name right. It's Paquin. It's not penguin.
Spell it.
Paquin.
Okay. Well, you was walking like you was penguins. I thought they called y'all penguins because you was 14 years old.
That's why you associated penguins.
Yeah, I really thought. I didn't know that was really a person. We teased everybody. We thought you was walking around pregnant. You was like a penguin. And I really thought that literally. And we say that joke, but I really thought that. But she reached out and touched somebody. That was really heavy.
Yes, that was.
And shout out to the Gina Lees who wears her heart on her sleeve, who said that I don't have any children. I don't have any children of my own. God didn't decide to give me a child. But she wants to spend all the time volunteering, teaching kids, touching kids. All she knows about kids is by the time she finally got her nice outfits and stuff, she came home before she could wear. My mother then drugged some needy kid in the house and gave her a damn clothes.
You know what? When I was reading this article, and I pulled out that one piece about her taking them to the Walters Art Museum.
Uh-huh.
You know, that was my mother.
Yeah.
That was my mother. That was the kind of person she was. She would call them in her car and just tell their mothers, I got them. And
Yeah.
she would bring them here and she would put my clothes on them, brush their hair, have them looking all cute, put my barrettes and everything on there, and take them to the ballet, take them to a play, or take them to a movie so that they could see that there were people who looked like them doing other things outside of their community. You know,
CC.
and at the time, of course, I was like, darn, this little girl got on my outfit.
Yeah.
You know, but at the time, I didn't quite. But as I got older, I realized when people would stop us in the supermarket and say, hey, Miss Lee, and look over at me and say, your mother changed my life.
Wow.
You know, when you hear that kind of thing, you realize what was being done back then.
Yeah.
Planting the seed, giving them the path
Yeah.
that you can do and be different. You know, you don't have to live right in this little bubble that you're in. There's a world out there,
Yeah.
you know.
Carol Turner. Miss Gibson. Carol Turner. Carol Turner. CC, you got a story to tell about somebody taking you a hand, and how did that go?
Yeah, absolutely. I had a teacher in high school that was the same exact way. Her name was Margaret Lindsay Johnson. And, I went to school for the arts in high school, and I had a misconception. I thought that I was going to be going there dancing on the tables like we was in Fame, and we wouldn't have to do no work, and we would just be doing our craft. It's amazing how the 14-year-old mind works. So when I got there and I realized not only did I have to keep my academics up, but I also had to keep my grades up in my major, and the music that I was going to be learning, I wasn't going to be singing Patti LaBelle and Stephanie Mills. I was going to be singing whatever opera, what Amal and the Night Visitors and Porgy and Bess. So I was a little girl from the ghetto. So I was thrown by that. It threw me off. I wasn't interested. I did everything in my power to get kicked out of that school because I wanted to go to Douglas. Douglas also had a music program. Douglas was up the street. Everybody around the way went to Douglas. I wanted to go to Douglas. So I did everything. I hooked school. I did everything I could possibly do to get put out. But it's amazing that you can find one person, a teacher, that'll change your life because this teacher saw something in me that I didn't even see in myself. She saw potential in me that I didn't even know that I had. And she refused to let me give up. She refused to let me quit. And just like you said with your mom, Gina, she was an accomplished opera singer, one of the most beautiful soprano voices I've ever heard to this day. And she arranged to take me to New York to take me to the Metropolitan Opera because she wanted me to see that I was wrong. Because I told her, why are they teaching me this? Black people don't sing opera. You know what I mean? We sing R&B, we sing gospel, we don't sing opera. And she was performing in the Mall and the Night Visitors, and she arranged for me to go to New York with her so that I could go to this place so that I could see people that looked like me doing what I told her that people didn't do. She said, you're wrong, and I'm going to prove it to you. And when I went there, first of all, I was blown away, and that was when she started to teach me about Marian Anderson and Leontine Price and all of these, people that I never even knew existed. And at the end of the day, it was through her inspiration that I was able to remain in school, because my whole thing was if I gotta stay here, then I'm just quitting. I give up because this is not for me. But I learned through that journey that the basis for any music that you sing, the foundation is in classical music. That's your music theory, learning how to read music. Those are things that you can apply to any type of music. And I didn't know that. So, if it hadn't been, I often say, and even to this day, she passed away when I was in my senior year of high school, and it broke my heart in a million pieces. But if it wouldn't have been for her, but after that, I said, I gotta finish because now I owe it to her. You know what I'm saying? I felt like I
Wow.
owed her something because she showed me that I couldn't live life in my backyard, that it was a whole world out there.
Well, to all the persons out there that's taking time out to help somebody along, we salute you. I mean,
Absolutely.
from Sugar Mama Jones and I, who could say that, you know what I mean? We have been in the presence of these great people. Gina can say her mother, you know what I mean? Cece can say the opera singer. I can say Carol, who rescued me. Carol Turner probably literally rescued me from the street. She really did, because I was take a break. I was so busy being take a break, I didn't know what I was doing, and she just kept me going. So we'll thank him. Any comment on that subject, Doc? But Doc's just getting in. Let me tell y'all something.
I
Real
think
talk.
Doc having a little bit of technical difficulties this morning.
Even I mean, even Tupac, when he was at the School of the Arts, he in his interviews, he commented he even had to learn
And she
Shakespeare
chose some of the
and
rougher schools like Cherry Hill, like lovely Lexington Terrace, like Martin Luther King in Park Heights, Edgecombe Circle, what I'm saying? And, Dallas Eccles, it's a number that I can name, but she chose, some of the schools, and then she ended up becoming a principal at Coldstream Elementary School. And so, for me, I've had the opportunity to, just as I've been marching in the streets and different things, it's a blessing when somebody comes up and say, your mother helped change my life, and it's funny because actually I used to feel some kind of way when my mother would be always doing something for somebody else and always with some other kids and different things of that nature sometimes. But in one particular time, she was gone for Mother's Day. And I really felt some way about that. But do you know, at my mother's funeral, the guy that she was there, I actually had him to have some words, one of her old students. And what he said is, he said, you know what, she pulled me up when everybody was saying I couldn't do something and was saying I was dumb and stupid. He said, your mother took me under my wing, and I let him have words. And he said, and actually, when my mother died, when I was 16 years old, he said, your mother sat right next to me at the funeral and hugged me. He said, on Mother's Day. And so my mother, appeared to be like his mother on the same day he was funeralizing his mother on Mother's Day. And I just really had to think about, man, that's the Mother's Day that I was kind of upset that she wasn't, with me, but she was where she needed to be with a young man who did not have his mother, and he attributes her to help change his life. And now he's like got his own business, and he's also one of the top salesmen at one of the car dealerships, up in Randallstown. And so, I just really, the brother is like my brother now.
Wow, that's a good story. Well, y'all, be somebody important, be yourself. But like my panel always say, try your hand at helping somebody today. Good topic, Gina. Thank Doc. CC?
Yes.
How you doing, CC? I'm Party Marty. Let's talk. What's your topic today? Excuse me.
I know what you gonna say. I shouldn't even tell you about my topic because I know he gonna say that here come Miss Gloom and Doom. But
Wait, let me before my wife goes, because I know she get ready to hit us with some gloom and doom. But anyway, it's something that we always need to hear. I want to tell y'all out there in podcast land exactly what y'all have done to harm me too. My wife made an executive decision I own up to my shortcomings. I'm a show-off type person. We like to have cookouts. My house is built. I built my house to entertain. My kids are grown. I have a lot of grandkids and great-grandkids, so I like to entertain. And my wife has made an executive decision. She has told us that the Labor Day, what is it, Labor Day or Memorial Day?
Labor.
The Labor Day cookout is now canceled. My Labor Day cookout is now canceled because of y'all, some of y'all dumbass. Because she said, yeah, we have said we had all that. We want to, we put together a skit. We was going to do a reenactment and everything. But my wife says, and I couldn't say nothing. I just let her talk till she was done. She can't have 100 people sitting around running through her house in her backyard, knowing that 20% of them are unvaccinated. We are having a melting pot of germ, disease, and COVID, and we are preaching not to do it. And here we are with 100 people in our house. And my wife says, that's hypocritical. And I said, well, baby, you know what I mean? And she threw Gina right under the bus. That's the first thing she said about Gina. I said, but no, not them. It's, just family and stuff like that. He said, we got family that's not vaccinated. Stop thinking that it's just dope things. If Gina said that a bunch of her family's not vaccinated, a bunch of mine isn't either, probably. A bunch of yours isn't either. So now my big shot cookout with the game truck, the water slides, the fireworks and all that. Now my wife said no, because there's so many of y'all that are still not getting vaccinated. And my wife said it's plain old fashioned hypocritical if we come over there. Our cookouts, y'all know, are up at 100, 150 people in our home. They're upstairs, downstairs, she shack, man cave, backyard, front yard, water slide, game truck. They're all over the place. There's people all over the place. We literally have armed security at our cookhouse. But now my wife said no. We thought about it. She thought about it. She said, I'm making an executive decision. My wife don't make executive decisions on me. She might just tell me, no, shut up or something. But she don't make executive. She said that it's too many people out there that are not vaccinated. There's too many people running around that's still spreading this virus. And if we have a cookout that have 100, 150 people out there, we are no different than them. And that's what she said. And that hurt. I really, because I wanted to have my cookout, but I don't make the final decision on the house. My wife makes the final decisions on the house. I make the final decision on the cars. I make the final decision on some of the bills. But what goes on in the house, my wife has the final decision on that. What we cooking, what we have for dinner, my wife has the final decision. So I want those of you out there, podcast fans, my friends and family that are not vaccinated, now are affecting me. You already affect yourself. You already affect the world. I got a problem with y'all because now y'all affecting party. I do. I got a problem with y'all. I say what people want to say, but don't say. Now you have now come to our home and affected me. Please do what you can, y'all, to get this pandemic under control. Please do what you can, y'all, to try to curb this virus. And do what you can by simply getting the damn shot.
That's it.
I can't have a damn cookout. I can afford a cookout. I work for this cookout. My family likes this cookout. Me, Dr. Gino, putting on a play at this cookout. All these things are going on. Now it's over with because y'all won't get a damn needle, man. What the hell is the matter with y'all? What is the matter with y'all? What is the matter with y'all? Anyway, CC, what's your topic? That's crazy. I can't have my cookout. I can't have my cookout because she's right. It ain't just dope fiends and ignorant people out in showing. It's conscious, intelligent, educated individuals that are not getting the shot.
Yeah.
Y'all get it? I'm gonna give you one way of giving it to you before I bring this home. When you start talking about I may get it, I may not get this and that, let's figure this out. Let's all use your theory. What did Doc say? Free, let everybody go or lock everybody up. That's Doc's on the fence. Doc said, listen, I don't care. Whichever way y'all want to do it, let's do it. Either let everybody go free or lock everybody up. This is plain and simple. If your theory is you're not getting the shot because of, let's nobody get the shot. Let's use your theory. Let's nobody get the shot.
And we
See
all
how
go.
that works out for you, dumbass. We'll all be dead. Either everybody get the shot or nobody get the shot. Let's use your strategy. Nobody get the shot. Now, how in the hell you think that's going to work out with your dumbass?
It's not.
Real simple, Doc. Either everybody get the shot or nobody get the shot. Gene up there talking about she's still in her house. She don't want company. She don't want to entertain. Don't want people in there. Yeah, here's a man. Like a good neighbor, stay over there. All that kind of stuff. Like, we still dealing with this. They canceled our trip to Las Vegas, y'all. It was bad enough when it hit my wife. My wife wanted to go see her bestie graduate from college. Went back to school at 40-some years old. Shout out to McGee. Went back to get her RN at 42, 43, 45 years old. Now she gonna graduate. She want her bestie to come over there to see her. They don't have enough gas or something dumb on the West Coast or something like that for us to go to Vegas. All this is part of the pandemic. Now, it was okay when it was Cece, when she said, well, we can't go. I said, oh, baby, oh, I'm so sorry to hear. We'll get them next time and all that. Got the Google. It was okay when it was her. Now, I'm a show-off type cat. I like to put on my cookouts. I like to be part. Hey, what's up, Jack? Give them all the crabs they want. Give them all this. I own up to my shortcomings. I'm party. Now, she'd have told us that we had already put the deposit on the game truck. We had already paid the people to do whatever they doing. She said, no. Anybody that's got paid, let them keep it. Because we would be a hypocrite if we put 100 to 150 people in our yard, all crammed up there, touching everybody, doing everything, and this pandemic still running rampant.
Yeah.
That's not only sad, y'all. That's sick. That's sick, man. Y'all want to kill yourself, man? Kill yourself. But now you're affecting party.
Right.
You're affecting party. I wish I could solve Doc. Back in the day, we solved it real. When we put our hands on them.
Quick.
You know what I mean? You don't want to get. You don't want to get the shot. Well, take this black eye to go with that goddamn arm. Doc, turn your volume down. Hey Doc, I'm practicing to be an engineer. That's what Cece would say. Practicing to be an engineer. All right, Cece, tell your thing. Let's go, Cece. Who did? Who get ready to die? Murder, man. Oh no, that was wrong. Go ahead, Cece. Hey, Cece, wait a minute. Hey. Let's segue. Cece. What's your topic today? Who's dead? Let's talk.
First of all, you too daggone smart. Let's start right there.
I apologize, podcast
Second
land.
of all, I love all those feel-good stories and everything, but life is not always rainbows and unicorns. So sometimes I gotta be the one to break the bad news. So if it is to be, let it start with me.
Start with me.
So my topic today is an ex-Louisiana trooper who strikes a black man 18 times with a flashlight during an arrest. Now, this happened in May 2019, and it happened less than 3 weeks after the same officer's unit was involved in the brutal and deadly arrest of another black man whose name is Ronald Green. But this particular officer, let me make sure I get his name right, because we call those cowards out. His name was Trooper Jacob Brown, and he was caught on police body camera beating a black man by the name of Aaron Larry Bowman over the head with a flashlight. He hit him 18 times with one of those flashlights that's sharp at the end that you break the window on a car window, the glass on the car window with. Now, it was a flashlight, but in the course of the investigation, they found out that this was not the only offense for him as far as brutality against a citizen was concerned. He had been named in 23 other use of force incidents, and since 2015. So in 4 years, he had been named in 23 other incidents. And he was he has since, of course, like they always do, these cowards, they always do. He has retired from the force, and he retired 2 months before the investigation was launched. But the thing about this whole thing is that he was wearing a body camera, but he mislabeled the footage so that they would not, certain a certain way that they label the footage gives red light. I'm tongue tied today. A certain way that they label the footage lets them know that it needs to be reviewed because there's some kind of allegation of abuse or whatever. Well, he just labeled it citizen encounter. So nobody would know to look at that. It wouldn't raise any red flags. But this particular unit, and this is in Louisiana, and this particular unit is called the Louisiana State Police Troop F. This Troop F has a history of police brutality, namely against people of color. They pull over more people of color. They make more arrests. They have more brutality claims against them than any other unit in the Louisiana State Troopers barracks. So this is under investigation, and not to mention on the footage, I watched the video, and it was very disturbing because this officer was not even first on the scene, but he said that the gentleman hit another officer. And when he got to the scene, he jumped out of his car, and the footage shows that within 2 seconds, he had his flashlight out beating this man. No questions asked. He wasn't there to see start to finish what happened. Within 2 seconds, he was beating this man. He hit him all in his head and everything. And the whole time he's saying, "Give me your fucking hands," and all of this kind of stuff. And the man, I'm not messing with you. Now they have this man face down on the ground, mind you. Of course, we all know that because that's what they always do. And the man is saying, "I'm not fighting you. I'm not fighting you." And he telling them, "You fight me. I'm not fighting you." He telling them, "Shut the F up. You ain't listening," all this kind of stuff. And when he was questioned about this incident, once they finally found the footage, he said that his practice was called pain compliance. Now, that's just a fancy dressed up way to say police brutality, but
Exactly.
he called it pain compliance. And the gentleman that he was attacking was a dialysis patient. He beat this man so badly until, if anybody knows anything about dialysis, you know you have to have a port in your arm in order to receive your dialysis. He beat this man so bad that he couldn't even get his dialysis because he ruptured the port in his arm.
Oh my God.
So this is just another one of these not so feel good stories. And they seem to have a lot going on in Louisiana. You know, I've been looking a lot at Texas because Texas has been doing all of these crazy things with COVID and everything. But they got, and I'm just bringing this point up because just like my husband said that we're planning on traveling there, and it's a hot spot for travelers. Louisiana, everybody want to go there, but this is a thing that's going on in Louisiana. I was also reading this. I also had another story that I wanted to share really quickly, which also took place in Louisiana. Jesus. And this one is about these split decision convictions. Now, when you go to court and you have a jury trial, it has to be a unanimous decision in order for a conviction, or so we thought. But apparently, up until 3 years ago, That was not the case in Louisiana. They had to actually go to the Supreme Court to get this enacted to overturn the fact that you had to have a unanimous, that it had to be a unanimous decision, because in Louisiana up until 3 years ago it could be a split decision, meaning that, like, I read the story of one gentleman. He did 22 years in jail for, his name was Jermaine Hudson. He did 20 years in jail, and the jury was split when he was convicted. 10 voted to convict, 2 voted to acquit, and this young man did 20 years in jail for a crime that he didn't even commit. Because the reason why he got out was because the person that had accused him of a robbery and a battery later came back years later, 20 years later, and said that they lied. The person said that they lied. There was a young man said he lied because he didn't want his parents to know that he was on drugs, and that was where his money went, that he spent all his money on drugs. So he accused this young man, and when they put him in the photo lineup, they picked out this young man, and he was innocent. He did 20 years in jail, but he did it on a split decision because 2 jurors said that they absolutely did not believe the evidence and voted to acquit. But because 10 voted to convict, he went to jail on the split decision vote. And he even said that he didn't even know that that could happen. He thought that that would be a hung jury, there would be a mistrial, he would get a new trial. Nobody even knew. They took this to court, to the Supreme Court, because they said this was a Jim Crow era law and that it needed to be rolled back. But just think that it was not rolled back until 3 years ago. So up until 3 years ago in Louisiana, you could actually go to prison, and it was not a majority that voted for the conviction. I mean, it was not unanimously voted for the conviction.
That's like Emmett Till, basically,
Right.
where the white
Yeah.
woman said that he did something and he didn't, you know,
Yeah.
where they just got somebody to say, yeah, that's him, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so sad that,
Right. And
you
Sugar
know,
Mama Jones, you're right. If one holds out, that's enough for a mistrial or a hung jury. In most states,
in
yes.
most states.
In most states, yes. But nobody
And I
knew
can,
that
you know
wasn't
what? I will guarantee, I will bet money that Arkansas is the same way.
I'm
'Cause
probably,
that's
Jim.
the most racist state in the country.
You know,
Probably.
people don't realize. Great point, CC. Great topics. Hey, listen, people don't realize that how current stuff is. Meaning, when Gina took us to see Harriet Tubman, and they showed this schoolhouse in the middle of the street. CC, remember the schoolhouse, Gina? That was 1982 or something like this. This was a little house like Andy Mayberry. It was literally, my brother shed is bigger than the schoolhouse. His shed, did he put his tractor and stuff in? Tate's shed's bigger than that. It's a 1-room schoolhouse. And when I saw the thing on there, I thought it said, what did it say? 1982, something like that?
It was like
Whatever.
60.
I think it was 62, yeah.
Yeah, 1962 or something like that. I thought it was
still within our
1862.
lifetime.
I thought it was 1862 where the black people were going to school there. I thought it was 1862. When I got up on and looked at it, I said 1962. I said they must have been Harry. And Gina said, no, that's not 1862. That's 1962.
No,
We were in school in 62. Gina and I were already playing one with the red wagon and the bicycle. We were in school in this big giant building, James Moser, that they call Billie Holiday. And these people going to school in 1 room. A lot of this stuff isn't so far gone.
No.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, but Cambridge, Maryland.
Cambridge, Maryland.
Right.
Yeah, Cambridge, Maryland is way behind. And this is something.
And that's what I was saying about those split decision convictions. I mean, people, you got to realize that laws vary from state to state. So you have to really check on these things and do your homework, and can't always just assume that because that's the way it is here, that's the way it is everywhere. Because a
Right.
lot of these people are from other places that move to these places with these crazy laws, and they don't know. If somebody from Maryland went to Louisiana 5 years ago and got into some trouble or whatever, we would definitely believe, like most people would believe, that everybody had to be on board with the conviction in order for us to be convicted. But it was just a majority rule there.
That's amazing. And that man spent 22. That's the thing that really gets me. I mean, it's one thing if you spend a month or two.
Right.
22 years of your life.
Yeah. And one thing everybody knows is that once you get arrested, once you're in jail and you say you're innocent, they say, oh, everybody innocent in here. Nobody, listens to people. They think that everybody in prison is guilty, and everybody is just gonna say they're innocent. So, that's why I thank God for these programs like the Innocence Project and all of that stuff, because
Yes.
there really are a lot of wrongly convicted people in prison.
Yes.
Literally, after all the times that I've spent breaking the law and stuff, the last time that I was incarcerated, I did not do it. And I mean, my situation was different. If y'all know Oscar Tisdale, if you're out of West Baltimore, you know the Tisdales, East of Woody. And so I said, man, I don't believe this, Oscar. Man, me and Black man, I'm locked up for something I didn't do. And he let me talk. I don't believe this man got me over here for something I didn't do. He had me locked up for child support. I was court ordered with child support. My kids this was back money. My son's 48 years old. And I worked for the state. I had the pay stub, everything to show that I was paying this money. But they didn't care. But anyway, it was a mistake. And I said to Oscar, I said, man, I don't believe this has happened to me. Why me? And Oscar turned around and said, why not you? Sometimes we don't know. We have different things, but sometimes people are just unjustly wronged.
Sugar Mama Jones says she know of an actual case where they were told to rule with the majority in Maryland. I can believe it.
Yeah. Hey, y'all, everybody that's listening in the podcast land, we get ready to get back to Gina. Gina's going to give you a second topic and talk about what's going on. And y'all know at this time I'm doing my thing. Kevin, how you doing, Kevin? Say hi.
Hi, everybody.
Kevin saying hi. That's my work. He's here. We got to get ready to put up some moon bounces. If y'all want to enjoy yourself and you're anywhere in Northern Parkway in the Alameda area, Leaf Walk Elementary, we're having a back to school book giveaway over there today. So they over there.
I want you to hear this topic though, Party Marty.
Go ahead while I get. Go ahead.
I want you to listen to this one.
Real
quick. It's real short.
Okay.
It's real short. For my second topic.
Wait a minute. Segue. Hey, Gina. Gina Lee, how are you today? What's your second topic? Let's talk.
My second topic is about Jonathan Warren. And Jonathan Warren is a dog.
Your cookie started barking already for you said.
She know him.
That's why I want you to be around so you can hear it. Jonathan Warren was adopted from a shelter by a young lady, and he is now, well, first of all, when he was adopted, he was getting ready to be euthanized. And she rescued him. And she said at first he wasn't very friendly, but she realized that he was just very chill. So she eventually figured out he was a sweetheart. So now this dog has traveled. First, she took him with her on her jobs to 3 different states. She went to Connecticut, she went to California, and she went to Utah. And he did well on the trips. Well, she had another job that she had to do, but it was out of the country. It was in Canada. So she said, well, I wonder, what I got to go through to take my dog out of the country, blah, blah. She figured it all out and everything. It wasn't that bad. She took him to Canada. This dog, Jonathan Warren, has been to 16. That you hear me? 16 different countries. Did you hear what I said? Wait a
He
minute.
got more stamps on this passport than me.
I swear. Wait a minute. And you guys see the pic. I hope you can see him. You know I always mess up the pictures. But wait a minute. That's the first one. Wait a minute. This in Utah. Wait a minute. I got one for you though, CC. This Utah too. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I got one for you. See, this the Grand Canyon.
Nice.
This the one I wanted to show you, CC. Look where he at.
He running the park. Oh, he playing the slot machines.
Ah! Yeah, I was in tears. I was in tears. Look, he out on a date.
Oh my goodness.
Girl, this woman that takes
That is too cute.
is he honestly. Wait a minute. This the other one I wanted to show you. He done been
He at
to
the Eiffel Tower.
he done been to Paris.
He done been to Paris.
He done
Go
been
ahead,
to
Jonathan Moore.
He has his own Instagram page. So if you ever want to just go and laugh, he's got an outfit for every place he's been. They got him in front of all kinds of food and drinks and doing all kinds of things. It's hilarious. But I was like, this dog done been more places than me.
Right.
But the lady said that what she uses him for is to promote this and spread the word about doggy adoption.
Okay.
That's beautiful. That's really funny, Gina, and that's a great note for us to end on. That's really.
I said, y'all need to dress Cookie up, take some pictures, and put them on Instagram.
Cookie got a whole wardrobe.
Cookie got more clothes than we did.
Right, it's just too warm outside to put clothes on her now. But Cookie got a whole wardrobe, and she be dying to get on the podcast. You know, she be back there barking. She be under the table, tapping me with her nose and everything the whole time I'm sitting here. So we gonna make you famous too, Cook.
Gina, that's a good feel-good story. That was it.
Yeah.
Hey, what an awesome show. All right, y'all. Closing thoughts, Gina Lee.
I'm a dude. What did Doc say? 8-track problem, 8-track situation for iPod problem. Yeah. Step into today and solve a problem.
That's right.
CC, closing thoughts.
And my closing thought, as usual, is get the shot, wear the mask, because we will not be having any more big cookouts until y'all do. And I just been looking at the news and seeing so many. And please, anybody know that anybody that's expecting or that's with child, encourage them to get the mask too. I've been seeing a lot of stories about pregnant women just giving birth and having COVID and dying the day after they gave birth to the babies. It's so heartbreaking. So do what we can. Let's do what we gotta do to get this thing under control so we can see some sense of normalcy, because we sliding backwards. So everybody do what you can, and I'm going to keep you posted about what they got to say about these booster shots, because that's going to be our next thing that we're going to need to do. But if we need to do it, we need to do it. We need to just remain vigilant. And also a lot of children are getting sick as well. So, let's do what we got to do. Be responsible, be respectable, and I'm gonna keep y'all posted.
Hey,
did you hear the story about I hate to say this, but this just stupid. The people down in Mississippi taking the ivermectin shot.
What the horse tranquilizer. Yeah.
For what? What are they taking it?
They taking it because they think it can cure COVID.
A horse tranquilizer?
Right.
A horse tranquilizer, yes.
And they got on TV and said, Dr. Fauci said, you are not a horse and you are not a cow. So stop listening to all of
The
Go
poison
ahead.
control people said they receiving calls from them people, after they get sick. Yeah, they
That's
keep it.
worse. That's worse than when our former president suggested people drink bleach. So all of these, for anybody out here that's listening, the only defense that we have against COVID, masks and vaccinations. All the rest of that stuff is just misinformation that's fueling people not getting the shots. So let's not listen to them. Let's follow the science, wear the mask, and get the shot.
All right,
Yeah.
y'all. My closing thought. The reason why y'all don't see me is because we live in an everyday world. You know what I mean? I'm out here getting ready to drop off some moon bounces and stuff like that. But I have a commitment to this show, so therefore, i.e., I'm here. Gina Lee has a commitment to the show, i.e., she's here. Cece has a commitment to the show, i.e., she's here. Doc pops in, he has a commitment to the show, i.e., he's here. Make sure that you have a commitment to something. We pray that you have a commitment to getting your damn shot. Anyway, let's bring this thing home, y'all. Hands up, hands up, hands up to another great show. Thank you, everybody, for allowing us into your home. Thank you for allowing us into your television, allowing us into your computer, just allowing us into your life and your lifestyle. To Gina Lee, who came up with an awesome thing about, I still call them penguins. Penguin School and stuff like that, because y'all was walking around pregnant as I don't know what. That's beef. I thought it was a joke. I didn't know that was a real person and an awesome individual.
Lawrence Paquin.
Lawrence Penn and an awesome individual, hero. I just want y'all to know, man. Listen, real talk, y'all. Let's do what we can to get back to normal. I'm not the bearer of bad news. I'm not bashing anybody. All these things about choice and stuff like that. But it's still my job to tell you making a bad choice. You're making a bad choice. That's all I'm saying. You know what I mean? All right, y'all, let's get out of here. We'll see you again tomorrow. We got some good news that we're going to start telling y'all about a new venture that's coming, but I'm running a little late for it. Cece and Gina, coming up next Wednesday, are going to start their own show. Hands up, hands up, hands up, hands up. They'll be telling you we're going to do tomorrow at sometime. We're going to do an introductory little short version to let y'all know exactly what you have coming. But it's going to be about, what is it about, CC and Gina?
Spotlight on Black businesses.
And what does that mean to us?
That we're going to show you and tell you about my business and Gina's business, but we also going to have some other Black entrepreneurs, local people that will come and tell you about their businesses and what they do and how you can patronize them and buy their products.
Just something else to get in there. And we started the conversation, and Gina is already abreast of it. She's talking about, we said, well, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And Gina immediately said, well, you want to do this, you may want an LLC, you want to use your website, you know what I mean? So she has some insight on some things. My wife's a geek, she's going to be ready. When these people get their heads together and stuff like that, they're going to give you something to give you a chance to make some money. Or at least, what did Doc say? If you like what you're doing, you'll never work a day in your life. You know what I mean? Anyway, good luck to everybody out there in podcast land. Please be somebody important. Be yourself. All right, y'all. Y'all know how I take you home. I take you home all the time with the song that my mother sings, made one of my famous songs. Her favorite song goes simply like this. May the work I've done speak for me. May the life I've lived speak for me. When I'm resting in my grave, oh Lord, may y'all say, may the service we give on this podcast speak for me. One less hands up. One less hands up to another awesome show. I want y'all to know something too. All these shows are different. We didn't start off to be this way. But like Gina's saying, she brought us home with that. Sometimes things change. The day of the 8-track is over. We're using iPads now. You know what I mean? Things change. We start talking about topics that we think people want to hear. And then when it's all over with, we do something that's really, really important. Listen up and learn with us. Because we learning too. We're learning too. Learn with us. All right, y'all. Have an awesome day in the Lord. And as always, to God be the glory. Hey!
before I leave out of here. You know how I do. My big cuz, she said, all you need is grace and mercy. Here we go, y'all. To God be the glory. Take us home, Kenny Davis. Now, everybody out there in the world, go off and have a great day on purpose. Talk to you tomorrow. We out.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye. See you tomorrow.